Well, this is going to be a good one for me. I'm really excited to be talking today with Lieutenant William Green, Medical Service Corps, U.S. Navy. He and I have something in common. We were both former hospital corpsmen. Me many years ago, him not so much, but so former corpsman, one of us has been highly successful and the other one is just hanging around teaching at the university. So William, thank you so much for being here with us today. I look forward to catching up and getting some of your insights for our students.
Me too, Professor. It's good to see you again.
So you graduated, gosh, our program, you graduated, was it 22?
May of 22.
Right. And tell us a little bit about how you got here to UCF. What was the process? What were you doing before? What led you to UCF and why this particular program?
So I joined the military back in 2010. I was about 20 years old. I was just really looking for money for college, using the GI Bill. Had interest in healthcare. Nursing was kind of what I was kind of more focused on at the time. So I joined to be a corpsman, which is kind of like a hospital medic slash combat medic, kind of fused in. So I ended up doing my first tour. I was on the ward and I worked in the ER, and I just realized that patient care wasn't kind of my forte. But I did one more command after that, and as I kind of stayed in, I picked up rank. I kind of got put in more healthcare administration programs, like patient administration, HR, logistics, education and training programs for the military. And a lot of my mentors were officers at the time, and they really kind of pushed me to put in my packages to try and commission as an officer to go get my master's and become a healthcare administrator in the military. And it took me about 4 tries, but I finally pushed through and got in. And actually, one of them was an alumni of UCF. Highly recommend the school. I talked to a couple of alumni and kind of got drawn to UCF and going in and pursuing my program there. And honestly, it's probably the best choice I ever did. So I had a great time there.
That's interesting. I had done all of my ward duty in C school and was a senior corpsman in the clinic. And the command master chief came to me and said, "We want to move you to communications," and put me in charge of an entire radio consult in all the branch clinics. It's like, Master Chief, I like what I'm doing. I don't want to get out of clinical. He said, "Dad, you'd be on a ship if you weren't doing this, so go do it." So the military said I should be in administration. And in your case, the military said you should be in administration. You should be a leader. And I appreciate that. So one of the things that I find fascinating, and by the way, before I forget, this program that you applied for, the military gave you permission to go to school, but they didn't buy your school, right?
No, I used my GI Bill from when I joined. When I first joined, I was getting my GI Bill after my first enlistment, and I used that to pay my way through school. But they paid me my base salary to go to school, so I received all my benefits of pay, healthcare, entitlements, but I just had to pay for my own education.
But having said that, if there's a student out there with a bachelor's degree and a full-time job that would like to do what you did, basically they could do the same thing. They could apply for that same program, right? The
They
military
can.
wouldn't give them military pay. They'd still have to take their pay for their full-time job, but they could go to college, get the master's degree, and then become an officer in the United States Navy.
So if someone wants to apply with a bachelor's, they have to go see a medical recruiter, and there's usually some within a 6 mile radius of each other. There's some in Orlando. Um, when they apply for the program, they'll put in a package. They'll do 3 officer interviews. They'll need 3 letters of recommendation from professors and probably some employers. They'll do like a motivational statement and get an endorsement. But when they apply, if they get accepted, they get military E6 pay while going to school. So they don't have to work their full-time job anymore. The
Wow.
military is going to pay them E6 salary to go to school to get your degree. So they don't have to work, and that's what I didn't do. Is I was just receiving my E6 pay at how many years of service I had. They would obviously come in with the years of service they'll have, which would be less than two, but they'll still receive full benefits while they go.
So in that case, are they actually beginning to clock time uh, in grade, as it were, or are they not yet considered enlisted?
So they're considered, it's called an OC1, it's officer candidate first class. And the time they're in school, it counts towards their total
Right.
commission. I would say not commission time, their total years of service.
Correct.
Yeah. So
That's
they'll have two
that's
years listed, and then whatever they do after that would be officer time in service.
See, I think that's something that our students don't really know much about, and I think that there are some real opportunities. We've had some students that have applied without the prior military and have gotten in and have done very well. But I appreciate you letting us know how that works. There's a misnomer because I've been on both sides, right? 6 years active duty as a corpsman and then my career. And I think that there's a misnomer out there that leadership is not necessary when you're in the military because you're the boss and you're the superior officer and you just tell people what to do and they have to do it. You don't have to really have leadership skills. I did not find that to be the case, and I'm guessing that is not the case with you. What is your particular leadership style, and is that very much different than what we would need in the civilian world?
I really revolve my leadership around what motivates I call my sailors, but what motivates my staff around me. So everyone joins the military for different purposes. You have some that join to do their 5 years, get their GI Bill, get out. You have others that want to make a career out of it. Some people are just trying to figure out their life. So it's really finding out what motivates them to kind of get the best you can out of them. There's so many benefits the military offers. And a lot of it is mentorship. It's kind of connecting with those people around you to figure out what motivates them and how you can get the best out of them. One thing I like to do is I'll see my staff, see what their strengths are, focus on their weaknesses and how I can build those weaknesses up to make them better overall, well-rounded, so that when they go to their next command, next assignment, next duty station, they're that much more successful or trying to align their next duty station with what they want to pursue in their career. So you can give them orders all day, but doesn't mean they're going to carry it out to the 100% capacity that you want them to do it at. I mean, some people just do the bare minimum to get by without trying to pursue kind of maybe the more of the output that you want. So very much motivating your staff, mentoring them, trying to get the best you can out of them. It's very much about earning their respect and not just demanding it, if that makes sense.
It does, and again, I think that is very similar to what it takes to be successful in the civilian world. You know, nobody just automatically says whatever you want because you're the boss. They need to have an understanding. And we talk about shared sense of purpose and how important that is in the military and outside the military. Um, so, Lieutenant Green, we appreciate you, and we're proud of the fact that we can call you one of our own. But let's say somebody looks at this video and they look you up and they're a student and they say, so is there something that you should could tell me that would be advice that would help me be more successful? What would be your number one advice for students coming through our program right now?
Continue. I mean, I would always say that it doesn't end with a master's degree. You have to continue to improve, do those certifications, continue to learn. I mean, if there's one thing I've learned just being in healthcare and alone being in the military is everything's constantly changing. So you got to constantly just remain up to date with what you're doing and how you're doing it and what the current processes are that are in place. I mean, for example, the military constantly changes different programs based on what you're doing in the hospital or in the operational mindset. So you always got to stay familiar with how you're doing things and never maintain like a status quo. Continue to improve and learn and study. So because your education never ends at that point. And that's one thing I've learned. I thought once I get commissioned, I made it. Not the case. You continually have to improve and learn, and that's one thing that I enjoy in the military. Is every new assignment I do, I'm constantly learning and improving upon the skills I have.
Well, I got to tell you, reflecting back to 1980, I would have given anything to have a medical service corps officer working with me like you. Um, and because I appreciate your ethic, I appreciate your dedication, and I appreciate your experience. And I'm sure that the enlisted folks you work with and your peer officers all recognize and appreciate that as well. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today and talking to our students. We wish you all the best and hope that we can stay connected as you continue your career.
Oh, I really appreciate it, Professor. Thanks again.
All right. Take care. Thank you.